Welcome back to Northwest Digital News. I'm Kevin Hunter with Chris Bornstead and Kyle Torgerson in studio. And of course, we have the lovely Lisa Knight Alexander here with us today as well. I'm going to talk about some pirate stuff.
Do you have a pirate name?
Yeah. Do you have a pirate name?
I've been called Shutterbug.
Okay. Shutterbug. All right.
That sounds piratey.
Yes. Well, we right before we rolled, I asked Lisa if she. Never mind. That was going to be a really. I realized that was not a good joke to tell. So never mind. Okay. Let's go right to the weather.
I don't even get to know what it was.
Nope, you don't. You don't. Kyle, share the weather, and it better be good because if you notice, you got a big cannon pointed right in your direction, and there's another one down at this end of the table. So you better make sure this is a good weather report.
Well, you see, Kevin, above us, it's pretty sunny. Above them, not so much. But today, you can look forward to a high of 83 and a low of 48, and it's actually going to be sunny, which is pretty great. And tomorrow, it will as well be sunny. And then probably should get your stuff done that you want now before it starts raining, sadly, Friday, Saturday.
It'll rain over the weekend, yeah. So for those of you that think TGIF and you're looking forward to, the weekend coming around, it's just going to rain on you all weekend. So
yeah.
How's the party now?
Right, yeah.
It's funny because last week it was January. This week it's August. Next week we're going back to January again.
Yeah, it's just kind of been a really interesting spring here, hasn't it? Well, cool. But there is some redemption coming up Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So, all right. So we got to just be rained on over the weekend. Well, on our show today, we are going to have a little conversation around pollution. And you see behind us, Kyle, if you remove the weather banner that's over our heads, if you see behind us, well, our Northwest Digital News kind of covers it, but there's the Rainier Bridge behind us. We want to show everybody a closer look down on the riverbanks of what a river looks like, from a riverbank. Oh, and this one. Slide that one up just a little bit so they can see the guy shoveling all this garbage off the edge of the river.
Is that Deadpool? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so where is this river at, you guys?
Well, judging by the bridge, I think it could be Rainier Bridge.
It is not the Rainier Bridge. You know what's interesting is, Chris, you and I were having some conversation about this online the other day, about the amount of pollution that is around the world. Mm-hmm. And, there's been all this local conversation around for those who are, when I think about environmental stewardship, it's about being responsible with your environment and doing what you need to do. Environmental extremists is saying, don't do anything at any cost because everything has an environmental impact. If you're going to build a house, it has an environmental impact because you're going to do some leveling of terrain there. You might drop a tree down or two. There's an environmental impact, so maybe you shouldn't build a house either. But I wanted to talk about this a little bit because part of the conversation, Chris, you made the comment that here we tend to way over mitigate.
We do, yeah.
Anything that has to do with environmentalism.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just bad. I mean, this is just my thinking, and I guess it might be wrong thinking or something according to some other people out there, but you have all of these other countries that have different rules than we do, mm-hmm. But yet we over mitigate. We bend over backwards to make sure that we use less than they do, and we already do. I mean, we are not part of this problem, and not even. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Not even close.
I mean, we aren't even. I mean, we're like number 20 on the list. So I mean,
actually, I don't think we're even number 20 on the list. You should see. So we're gonna talk about that briefly here. So when you think about, Kyle, you mentioned that potentially this was the Rainier Bridge we were looking at. Well, for our viewers, no, this is not the Rainier Bridge. This is actually the Ganges River. And then let's take a look here at the top 10 polluted rivers.
Like Genghis Khan?
Yeah, that kind of Ganges, yes.
Right.
Let's take a look at the top 10 most polluted rivers around the world and what they are. So you got a list here, Kyle. What's on the list?
Well, most of it is from Asia and Africa.
Does that surprise anybody here?
Yeah, really.
Asia and Africa. Okay.
And
so
I
what
do
are
have the pictures of where they are around the world, if you like.
Bring the pictures up. Yes, do that. Pull the article up, and so that people know, this was actually, they sampled, scientists did a analysis on plastic from 79 different major rivers around the world, 79 samplings along 57 rivers rather, and they showed the top 10 worst rivers in the world in terms of plastic pollution and pollution that's ending up out in the ocean because of these rivers. So pop this out here on the other screen here, and let's take a look at who these folks are. 95%. Now here's the really staggering statistic. 95% of all plastic polluting the world's oceans comes from just 10 rivers. 95%. So that means all the other rivers in the world, including our lovely Cowlitz River and Columbia River and whatever else, all the other rivers in the world combined make up the other 5%. So who are these 10 rivers that make up the top 95%, Kyle?
Well, we have the Niger, the Nile, Indus, Ganges, Yellow River, Hai-He, Amur, Yangtze, Pearl River, and Mekong.
You know, that's just crazy because nowhere on that map do I see the United States.
Yeah, that's
Nowhere.
the United States is not on the map.
Completely on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
But yet we are, I'm going to say we are losing jobs. We are losing revenue because we are mitigating for things that we cannot control. Mm-hmm. It's like we want coal here in Longview. Majority of the people here, they want coal. You'll hear arguments against that. No, we want the jobs. A lot of the coal will go to China. And the biggest argument that these guys use is that China will burn coal like crazy. They don't have any regulations and blah, blah, blah. You know what? That's not our business. Mm-hmm. It's not our business.
And the thing is that they're going to get coal whether coal ships through the Millennium Port or not. So
what can we do? We can have the best coal facility in the United States, and we can ship the cleanest coal that China has ever seen. We can do that. Mm-hmm. That will itself, the environmentalists should jump on that. Be like going, yeah, let's get them the cleanest coal we can. Then we can, then we don't have to make our citizens suffer because of what other people on the other side of the world are doing.
And the real truth is that shipping coal around the world out of these mines coming out of Wyoming, it's actually, if not the cleanest, some of the cleanest coal being shipped anywhere around the world. And the thing is when you look at, let's just take the country of India as an example. And by the way, we're going to talk about some of the top 10 most polluted countries as well. So besides just the river, we'll talk about some of the countries. So if you want to get that article ready, Kyle sent that over to you as well. But here's the thing. India is the world's fastest growing population. They're going to overtake China in the next 24 months as being the #1 world population. And their use of coal for power is just multiplying hand over fist. You know what coal they're using? The dirtiest coal you can possibly get your hands on, and then polluting the entire planet with what they're doing. India is on the top 10 most polluted countries in the world, and will soon be the #1 population. We aren't even close to what they have.
It's also one of the oldest nations out there. It's been around a long time. I did start watching a documentary on India that they have on Netflix, and it was just, you learn a lot from those things, and it's really cool.
So this picture that Kyle put on, this is actually in the top 10. So this is number 10 on the top 10, which is Bahrain. Pull us down to the next one. Look at there. Good old India makes it at number 9, and blow that picture up a little bit so people can see that. You know, I spent a fair bit of time in Los Angeles, and the air in LA is some of the worst air you can encounter anywhere in the United States. Not even close to this. The only way the way you actually see this kind of smog is you have to go up on the mountain ridges like around LA, and then you can see that haze hanging on the city because there's enough volume of it then from that altitude and that distance that you can see it hanging there. But when you're in the city itself and moving around, the air seems perfectly clear. This right here, the fact that they're standing right outside of this short distance from this building, what's the distance? Maybe 2, maybe 3 city blocks. And look at all that crap in the air. It's unreal.
I remember when I went to LA, when I was really younger, probably 9 or 10, we went to Disneyland, and LA on the freeway. When you look up, it looked just like that.
Mm-hmm.
When I went down when I was 18, we have done such a good job of changing things. It wasn't like that anymore.
Yeah, and when I'm referring to the error in LA not being anything like what we just saw there in India,
It used to be.
That's,
it used to be worse.
That dates back to like the early 2000s, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
We were, that's probably, no,
Yeah.
it was before that.
Yeah. The error there is remarkably cleaner than it ever used to be before. Okay, so go down the list there. Number 8 on the list is United Arab Emirates. At number 7 is Mongolia. Bring that picture up. Isn't that lovely?
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if they have any good grills.
Isn't that lovely? And you know, we were just talking about LA, and as clean as the air is there now compared to years ago. I was there taking a run in the summer of 2006, and I noticed my lungs feeling like they're almost on fire after running maybe a mile or two. And I was running all the time then. It had nothing to do with, you know, being out of air or whatever, but just all that stuff in the air.
You see this picture? There's not enough mitigating possible for us to do to ever impact what
There's
what
nothing.
you,
There's nothing we can ever do to slow that bus down.
It
Exactly.
doesn't matter.
You're wondering what the signs say. It's a hotel.
Huh?
Yeah. By the way, actually, we could help, Chris. You're actually wrong on that. There is something we could do to help mitigate that, because we could ship clean coal over there, and they wouldn't be
We already
putting.
said that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So number 6 on the list, surprising for people, is Egypt. Most polluted. And check out that picture of the city.
Yeah, but how? Why? What is it? What is it that they're doing?
It's more what they don't
Is it
do.
camel methane?
Camel.
I mean, serious. What's going on?
And here's a country that pretty much doesn't care about absolutely anything. At number 5 is Iran. Check out the.
I didn't run that long.
Check out Iran here. Isn't that lovely?
Oh,
see, around here we would see that just because we have a stinking cloudy day.
Right.
That's just what their skyline looks like.
wow.
And then below that, Bangladesh at number 4. That is a hellhole.
Careful.
Yes.
We can't call other countries shitholes. I mean, hellholes.
Yeah. When people make reference to some of these places being just a place you'd never want to be and the closest thing to hell, there are a number of them. Bangladesh is one of them. Check out Afghanistan. You got that picture up there already. How about Qatar? This is like put a wet rag over your face.
Maybe that's why they wear the burqas.
Maybe that's why the burqas.
Right.
Maybe there's
Right.
maybe air
Filtration
filtration systems in there.
In the 70s and stuff like that, they didn't dress like this. They were dressed more like Americans did. They reverted to this. So maybe it was because of the pollution.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm blown away.
Okay, so you were looking at that disgusting skyline of India, like how dirty that is. Okay, now pull up the number 1 on the list, Pakistan.
Oh my goodness.
Their air pollution here in Pakistan is double what it is in India. And we think India has a long ways to go to clean up their act.
That's a train.
That's public transportation
That's a
in
train.
India or wherever we're at. Move over. I know we can fit a few more guys on there.
Yeah, come on, somebody. Make your buddy happy. You know, in the Army, we used to fill up transport trucks like this, and that's what the sergeant outside they'd be shoving you in these cattle cars, and you're standing up, and you got your M16, you know, butt up and the barrel down, and you just packing you in there like standing cattle, and they'd keep yelling, "Make your buddy happy, make your buddy happy, squeeze in there, make your buddy happy." So looks like these guys have that figured out, don't they?
Well, they all have smiles on their faces. So I mean,
Well, they're
It's a
taking a
picture.
picture.
They say smile.
They're
When you
taking
take
a
a picture,
picture.
everybody, don't they normally say smile?
And there are areas around the world, Kyle, where if you are you're having a picture taken and you don't smile, you can actually get shot, like North Korea as an example. So that's why you notice like all these people, when they show these public photos, they're all smiley and happy looking and everything else. It's kind of like, don't you? Oh, it was just camera. Oh, all right, thanks. So that's what it is. All right. So if you thought the United States, or if you thought the Columbia River was polluted, or if you thought, we're not doing enough to mitigate our environment, you see all these things like these top 10 countries around the world. And what can the United States possibly do? If you even look at Pakistan here, which is at the top, if you shut down the pollution in every single one of these other top 10 countries and just let Pakistan continue to do what they're doing, there'd be nothing we could do here in the United States to stop world pollution. That's how bad it is in these other countries. And we actually have environmentalists and environmental extremists, not environmental stewards.
I call them environmental terrorists because
environmental terrorists.
They shut down the process and they use anything that they can do to stop it. And to me, that's the actions of somebody that is very, very hostile.
And you know what's interesting is we were just trying to have some honest conversation with people at a hearing that took place some time ago. It was a 4-day hearing. And Chris and I went over there and we were asking people the question because they had these "we can do better" signs. It's like, what? Share what we can do better than coal. Did we get even a single answer from anybody?
No, they just refer back to green jobs, but then they don't say what those jobs are, and they don't produce any, and they haven't. I mean, how long has that slogan been used by these guys here now? We can do better.
Yeah,
5, 6, 7 years. 8 years, and we still have not done one thing better. Not even one.
If you opened up a fast food burger place, Chris, and you only sold the buns, but no beef,
right.
At some point your customers would go, you know what, this is just stupid. These signs are the bun with no beef.
Yeah.
That's all they are. Right. It just says we can do better. What can we do better? Nobody apparently knows.
It's just what they tell themselves to justify their argument of keeping jobs out of our area.
You want to see something pretty cool, though?
Okay.
Let's see something very cool.
So this right here, this giant, weird-looking thing, is actually a giant air filter. I forgot where they put it in.
Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the cool part about it, not only does it like take out all the pollution, but if we scroll down here, they are actually able to turn the air pollution into a beautiful ring. Look at that. That black stuff right there, that's the pollution they take out of the air. And they can make it into jewelry.
Nothing says I love you like
air
pollution.
What would it say about rabbits? Can you go back up?
It says what?
It said something about rabbits.
Rabbits love clean air too.
No,
Our buddies.
It said something. Keep
going.
Keep going up.
It's right above this guy. Right above this guy.
Rabbits love clean air too.
Yeah, rabbits.
Save the rabbits.
Yeah, that kind of makes your nose twitch, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And your ears kind of go.
Right.
All right. So I think we gave you general flavor that the problem isn't pollution and or contamination in what we're not doing here in the United States or in our local area. The problem actually is what's happening everywhere around the world.
Well,
and we could be better stewards of world pollution by shipping clean coal around the world.
We're doing pretty good. I mean, if you go down lower in the article that we're referencing here, it says, who dumps the most plastic? And I'm going to read this.
Go ahead.
So it says, so much plastic is dumped into the sea each year that it would fill 5 carrier bags, I'm not sure what those are, for every foot of coastline on the planet, scientists have warned. More than half of the plastic waste that flows into the ocean comes from just 5 countries: China, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. The only industrialized Western country on the list of the top 20 plastic polluters is the United States at number 20. The U.S. and Europe are not mismanaging their collected waste, so the plastic trash coming from those countries is due to litter researchers. Says just litter. While China is responsible for 2.4 million tons of plastic that makes its way into the ocean, nearly 28% of the world total, the United States contributes just 77,000 tons, which is less than 1%, according to the study published by the journal Science. So we are less than 1% of the problem worldwide, and yet here we've got these just eco-freak terrorists who won't let us build even a dock.
So that you know, the carrier bags they were referring to there have to do with shipping containers.
Okay, so shipping the containers that go inside.
Yes,
okay.
they are monstrous. Basically what goes on a bulk carrier on a ship.
77,000 tons is all we are responsible for. That's it, you guys. I think that's something to be very proud of.
Absolutely.
When you're looking at all these other numbers. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some friendlier news than pollution. Let's talk about all the pollution the pirates are doing. No, actually, I'm just kidding.
There's going to be some black powder pollution coming.
Yes. So we have a pirate event coming up that we wanted to talk about. And you have a food drive here this Saturday. Talk about it, Lisa.
Yeah. This is our fifth
annual.
Well, the first time we ever did it, we did it for CAP.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw a post on Facebook from our local VFW saying that their food closet was pretty much empty.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of our crew are vets, and not only that, but we all support them. And I determined that we had to do something. We had to help them somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 weeks that time, we put together a quick food drive and helped fill their cabinet. So that was the first one. Now we do 2 a year.
Mm-hmm.
This is our first one in 2018. We also do one in October. The last one in October of 2017, we brought in almost 500 pounds of food for them. We filled the back end of a full-size Chevy pickup.
That was really cool. I got to go to, that was my first one that I got to attend, and they had all the food laid out in this tent, and you just walk in there and you look at all the food and you're just like, oh, wow. You know, you just can't believe how much is brought in.
It's just amazing we are there from, so we're out at Skipper's, out by Skipper's by their parking lot, from 10 to 5 this Saturday. It's also Earth Day. There's a lot of stuff going on, but we're there for 7 hours. So at some point in that 7 hours, we hope that you can stop by, bring us a few cans of food or boxes of food, or, cash. Cash helps them as well. And we'll get it to them on Monday. They contacted us. They're very excited. They're actually going to come out and support it. And we'll be firing this is what's out here. This is a 70 caliber cannon.
Mm-hmm.
This one over here is a 50 cal. We have one right here, I think is a 30. And the baby, which is a 20 cal.
Yeah, it's so cute.
And it does fire.
It does fire.
Every one of these does fire.
Isn't
we also
that cool?
have
This is that little, you just pew.
a replica flintlock and ball and cap. So those will also be fired out there. So we'll be doing live black powder demonstrations. There's no projectile. It's just lots of noise and
smoke.
Right. Now,
it's
is
really
it true?
cool.
Now, this could be just a rumor, but I better confirm it. Is it true that if you bring a donation, you guys will fire off the cannon for me?
If you would like to hear a cannon, you're darn straight. We would love to fire a cannon for you.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And so we sit out there for those 7 hours, and we collect food for the VFW. And it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to us because it's something positive that we do for the community, and because they've given so much for us, we need to give back to them as well.
You guys are awesome. Now, your group is called the ARRR Pirates, right?
Yes,
because there's another pirate group out there. Sometimes you see them out and about every once in a while, but you guys are the ones that are out in the community putting all the events like this and going to the parades. And,
yes,
we really appreciate you guys doing that type of stuff.
Our name is actually Association of Rapscallion River Rats, which comes out to R, and a lot easier to say. This time we actually have a raffle, $100. We're going to be doing a raffle for those that bring food. You'll get a raffle ticket, and
I won 4 free tickets to Wild Waves. Or no, Enchanted Village at the last one.
Yeah.
Now, you also have Skipper's also offering some kind of really awesome lunch deal, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, you know what? You need to have a second place and a third place. So Northwest Digital News will donate a 50 and a 25 that you can add to that. So you have 2 more gift cards to give away.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much.
You hear that?
So there's
The stakes just got up, people.
Yeah. So now
Bring
we
your
have
food. There's 3
free
gift
money.
cards to give away. It's Saturday.
And Skippers, they're doing. You bring 2 cans of food in, show them they're bringing it in. They'll give you their all-you-can-eat fish for $9.99.
That's a deal.
Listening to Cook and Country, The Wave, and KLOG, they're promoting it. And we've heard it on the radio. So
Excellent.
that's another way we get our word out. Skippers has put a post out that'll be in the paper today from Skippers. And now Northwest Digital should have their name on there, and
I don't worry.
that's
Well,
okay.
we
They
just-
were
I
saying
mean,
it now.
we just
so
want to
thank
help.
you.
We don't need any
We
credit.
just jumped in right now.
Yeah. So anyway, right now I'm overwhelmed. It's almost overwhelming to see how many people come out and when we fill that pickup and take it to the VFW, I would encourage anybody who wants to come and see us deliver, because it just means a lot to them too, and they're very excited. And so
I was really surprised when they put that post online, that they were out of food and that they needed food. People in our area, they really are struggling, you know, and I don't know if you guys know, this is going a little off subject, but the Castle Rock school levy bond thing failed last night. They didn't get the 60% they needed. And there's a lot of frustration online about why these things don't pass. And that's because policy decisions, political ones, have consequences. And every time they raise the cost or taxes or increase a fee, that hurts our families, and it hurts our families' bottom line to the point where they are now draining the local food banks, and we don't have enough food. This is a problem, and it's not just the folks here at the VFW that are having an issue. It's everybody, and so there's this big question of why we don't want to invest. Why it appears that we don't want to invest in our kids and our future. We don't have any more money, you guys. We just don't. We get feed taxed to death. They want to tax. It's got to stop. And if they need to.
You know what needs to be done, Chris? Is everybody needs to get 8 chickens in their backyard.
Yeah. If you live in the city, you can only have like 6, and I think